You should ride the train, and that's why Mark Nelson is here with the Heber Valley Railroad. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I love the hat. It says station master.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I prefer conductor.
Yes.
Because I really want to be more in charge of the train part than the station.
Yeah, the station's not.
Yeah, but
not as cool.
But it's still pretty neat nonetheless.
To get to wear that.
Indeed. And you really are the station manager. You're basically running the show over there at the Heber Valley Railroad. And what a great tradition and such an important one here in Utah.
It is. This is the only historic railroad in Utah, and you know, we're really working hard to preserve it and not only provide a great experience for the passengers who come and ride today, but to keep this around so that our kids and grandkids can ride it too.
You know, it's something that we've talked about many times in the past, and I always find it unfortunate that we have to talk about that part of it again, about keeping it. It should be such an easy conclusion that we should just put a lot of money into this and keep it forever, and yet it's nearly closed down. I don't know, I can think of at least 3 times in my lifetime alone. Which is just, it frightens me a little bit, because the Heber Creeper is iconic to Heber. What would Heber be without it? Exactly.
And you know, we're working very hard to do that, and it's going pretty well right now.
Yeah, you guys are in the middle of refurbishing, refitting the original steam engine.
Yes, the number 618, which is a 1907 Baldwin steam locomotive, and it's undergoing a pretty extensive rebuild and going quite well.
And when we talk rebuild with an old Baldwin like this, we're talking about manufacturing, hand manufacturing parts, because they just simply aren't. Baldwin's not making trains anymore.
No, there's no parts store either.
Right.
In fact, we have a lot of the original 1907 drawings, and thankfully some very talented folks in our shop, and you just have to make the parts.
Thankfully.
Yes.
So a little bit behind. We were hoping that we were going to be riding it this spring, but it seems like it might be a little later than planned. But nonetheless, we will be riding it again someday soon, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And when that day comes, when the 618 comes back out, it will essentially be like it was in 1907. It has new wheels, and the boiler's in great shape, and it's going to be awesome.
You know, I had the fortune of getting up on that train in 1982 when it came back the last time. That we were worried that things had shut down, and fortunately the state got involved, and I had the opportunity to get up and throw some coal. And that was one of the greatest experiences I have ever had. I got to drive it all the way back from Vivian Park back here to back up to Heber. And those guys were were teasing me the whole time, because they thought I wasn't going to be able to hack it, because it's so hot and you work so hard. And I think they were just playing with me more than anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I was fine with it.
You proved them. You're a train guy.
You bet I'm a train guy. I had no problem at all. I'm like, oh, I'll be up there for sure for the whole ride.
Great.
It was what a tremendous experience that was. But the experience of riding in these vintage cars is every bit the same for kids and adults alike.
It is, and we try hard to give our passengers a taste of what that old-fashioned experience is like, including robbing the train.
Apparently, that's what we're doing next. The Wild West days. You guys are going to rob. There's going to be a great train robbery.
We do. So it's this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Monday, but it's just a short ride, because it's really oriented for the kids. But on board there will be some train robbers and the sheriff to take care of them. But at the depot we have gunfights in between all the trains, and live entertainment. We have an old-fashioned magician and a lot of other things to make it fun.
Oh, this is tremendous. It's become a tradition to come up there for this weekend typically, because for a long time it was time to come and take a day out with Thomas.
That's right.
This is a great, I think this might be a little more interactive than that was. As much fun as Thomas was, this sounds like it's going to be a tremendous time as well.
Yeah, and it's really fun for the whole family. Obviously, the little kids love the train. They just it's magical to them, and to some of us big kids it is too. But there's also a lot of good entertainment there So it's a great afternoon.
Indeed, and we saw in the video there the rock and roll train.
Yes.
But you guys have so many others. The Polar Express train. You guys have the cowboy poetry and singing train, which is one of my very favorites.
Yep.
I don't think it gets much better than listening to the Wabash Cannonball
Right.
well on the rails in a train.
Exactly.
That's pretty terrific.
Yep.
Those are the kinds of things that you guys are doing all the time.
Right. We have a different themed train every Friday night that's kind of like a date night oriented thing. And so those could be chocolate tasting or cheese tasting or a Taylor Swift lookalike or black gospel choir or rock and roll or whatever, all kinds of different things.
You know, that sounds like a pretty romantic date night.
Yeah, it can be. It'd be great. Yeah.
I mean, that's a romantic date night that fellas can like.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think we're kind of cool with this.
Right.
You know, what a terrific thing that you guys are doing there. And talk to me about, you know, we're looking at, you know, the future of the train. Can you tell us a little bit about what some of that might entail?
Yes, thank you for asking that. So one of the really exciting things is there is work underway on two different fronts to put a trail alongside the train tracks. One segment is from the depot to Soldier Hollow.
Nice.
And then there's already a trail from there to the dam, and then another segment from the dam down to the end of our line at Vivian Park.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
And I think that in the next 4 or 5 years, that'll probably happen. And when that happens, that will increase the exposure and the traffic on the train a lot, and a lot of people will be able to enjoy it, you know, that iconic train, and just be right alongside it on their bike or on a hike.
You know, there's been so many great photographs of that train as it runs along Deer Creek on a sunset evening with, you know, Timpanogos in the background.
Right.
I gotta say, there aren't many places in this country where you can go and see those kind of views, see that beautiful train, and, you know, be in a place that's any better.
That's right.
I just can't think of it. There's maybe one other train ride that comes even close to this that I can think of, and that's up, you know, the Durango.
Right.
That's probably the only one that's even near.
Yeah.
What an experience it must be to run this. you gotta be feeling pretty. I'd feel like a great train tycoon.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that every now and then?
Yeah, well, sometimes I feel like a economically challenged train tycoon a lot of the time, because, you know, in some ways the Heber Valley Railroad is like an orchestra or a ballet or something like that we're constantly looking for the funds to operate it. But we're doing quite well right now, and excited to be
And some
there.
people have stepped forward, thankfully, a couple of people. But you guys can always use somebody else like that to step in and be a donor to the train, someone who really wants to take this and you know, I mean, put your name on a train car or something, you know, really make it your own. That's possible at this point, and you guys you'd look for that.
It is. In fact, let me mention one other thing.
Yeah.
This is pretty exciting. You know, back in the old days, and if you saw the Wild West movies or whatever, they would ride in these old-fashioned business cars that had a dining area and bedrooms and all of that in them. And we have identified one of those, a 1920s business car that actually used to be on the Denver Rio Grande line back in the day, and we're trying to purchase it. And when we get that, we will start offering a first-class experience that has a butler, and you can have some drinks, and you can take a nap, or you can have a party, and it will be really, really cool. And we hope to have that by the end of this year.
I cannot wait for that. Although I got to tell you, I'm more of the bunk car kind of fella. You can just give me a bunk car and I'll be fine. Just anything like this, though, when you guys start adding to the history. Is a tremendous thing, and that's what we've got to. I hope we're celebrating with our kids, you know, with our families, this wonderful history of trains in this country. I mean, when you think about it, that's what brought this country together.
Exactly. That's how the West was built. It really was built around trains.
Well, we've got one of the best ones out there right here in Heber, and of course we're excited to see 618 come out of the shop. That's going to be a great day. I can't wait to talk to you more about that as we get closer.
Great, let's do it.
All right, Wild West Days. People want to buy tickets, they can do it online?
Yep.
HeberValleyRR.org, is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where you can go to get tickets for the Wild West Days. Again, they run this entire weekend. There'll be there's the trains running from noon to 8.
10:30 to 8.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, 10:30 a.m. to 8. So lots of trains to choose from. Find a time that's convenient and come up and grab a nice meal.
Yep.
Go out and ride the train. Take a bike ride. There's all kinds of great things to do in the Heber Valley. The best of them, though, is the train. We have a lot more coming up here on the Mountain Morning Show as we wrap up this hour and go right into the next one right here on Park City Television.